In the story of the forgotten God, revising our tragic plate of the Holy Spirit is by Francis Chan. He's trying to convince the church has a problem with connecting with the Holy Spirit of God. I got Jesus. Why do I need the Spirit? I'm convinced there is a desperate need in the church for the Holy Spirit of God to be given room to have His way. I think we can agree that there is a problem in our churches, that something is wrong, but I don't think we can reach an agreement on what to do about it. Most people do not connect what is missing or wrong with a particular need for the Holy Spirit. A while back, our lack of openness to examine ourselves, especially in the area of the Holy Spirit, really hit me. 2 Jehovah's Witnesses knocked on my door and initiated a conversation. I had a lot to do, so I prepared to send them on their way. But as they began their spiel, I decided to take a few minutes and engage them. I generally told them that I found their teachings about Jesus offensive because they taught that Jesus was the same person as Michael the Archangel. I told them that I believe he is much more than one among many angels, that I believe he is God. My visitors replied, no, Jesus/Michael is the only archangel. There are no other archangels. So I asked them to open the Bible to Daniel 10:13, which reads, but the prince of Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. I pointed out that this passage is clear. Michael is only one of the chief prince or archangels. This caught them off guard. They told me they never heard or read this before. Now that I had their attention, I said, there's no way you can look me in the eyes and tell me that you sat down one day seeking to find God. Read the Bible and came to the conclusion that Jesus is the same person as Michael the Archangel. No one could come to that conclusion. You only believe it because that's what you're told. I don't want to stand here and spoon-feed you something else with that. I challenged them to read the Bible for themselves, rather than simply accept what they've been told about it. They went away that day and said they would consider doing that. I left that conversation feeling a bit proud of myself because I stumped them and got them to question their beliefs, yet I couldn't help but wonder whether I was fair to them. Had I ever sat down with the Bible and sought after its self-evident truth, or had I passively ingested what I heard from other people, much like my front door visitors? It was then that I began reading the scriptures as though I had never read them before. I asked the Spirit to make them living and active to me. Though I had been reading them for years, I asked God to penetrate the wrong and ill-convinced notions that I had collected along the way. It's a great exercise for those of us who have been immersed in the church culture for years. There are, of course, dangers in this, since the Bible is meant to be interpreted within the context and accountability of faithful community. Yet even with that qualification, there is still a need for those of us nestled deep within the Christian bubble to look beyond the status quo and critically assess the degree to which we are really living biblically. Most of us assume that what we believe is right. Of course we do. It is why we believe what we believe, but have never really studied for ourselves. We were simply told this is the way it is and didn't question it. The problem is much of what we believe is often based more on comfort or our culture's tradition than on the Bible. I believe we need to re-examine our faith just as much as the Jehovah's Witnesses who came to my door and need to reconsider theirs. Remember, the Bereans were left up as good examples because they questioned the things they were taught. They made sure that even the apostles' teachings were in line with what was written. Now the Bereans were more noble character than the Thessalonians, where they received the message with great eagerness and examined the scriptures every day to see what Paul said was true. Acts 17:11 NIV. Recently, I was asked, who is the most spirit-filled person you know? My response, Joni Eareckson Tada. 1967, died in an accident, left than 17-year-old Joni a quadriplegic addict, lying in a hospital bed. She was filled with an overwhelming desire to end her life. The thought of spending the rest of her years paralyzed with the neck down and relying on others to care for her basic needs was stagnating. But Joni did not end her life that day. Instead, she chose to surrender it to God. Little did she know that the Spirit of God would transform her into one of the godliest women ever to grace this earth. God gave her humility and love that enables her to look beyond her own pain and to see others' hurts. She's a person who consistently and humilely counts others more significant than herself, an embodiment of Philippians 2 and 3. I don't even know where to begin with all that she has done. While undergoing 2 years of rehabilitation after the accident, she spent many hours learning to paint with a brush held between her teeth. Her detailed paintings and prints are now highly sought after. Her international best-selling autobiography, Joni, was later made into a full-length feature film. She founded Joni and Friends in 1979 to increase Christian ministry to disabled community. Throughout the world, the organization led to the establishment in the 2007 of the Joni and Friends International Disability Center, which currently impacts thousands of families around the globe. Over the course of each week, more than 1 million people listen to her daily 5-minute radio program, Joni and Friends. The organization serves hundreds of special needs families through family retreats across the nation. Through Wheels for the World, wheelchairs are collected nationwide, refurbished by inmates in several correctional facilities, and then shipped and donated to developing nations wherever possible. Physical therapists fit each chair to a disabled child or adult who is in need. As of 2008, Wheels for the World had currently distributed 52,342 wheelchairs to 102 countries and trained hundreds of ministry and community leaders, including people with disabilities. In 2005, Joni Eareckson Tada was appointed Disability Advisory Committee of the U.S. State Department. She has worked with Dr. Condoleezza Rice and on programs affecting disabled persons in the State Department around the world. Joni has appeared twice on Larry King Live, sharing not only her Christian testimony but a biblical perspective on right-to-life issues that affect our nation's disabled population. And on top of all that, Joni has written more than 35 books. Yet it is not because of these accomplishments that I consider her the most spirit-filled person I know. Actually, it has nothing to do with all she has accomplished. It has to do with the fact that you can't spend 10 minutes with Joni before she breaks out in song, quotes scriptures, or shares a touching, timely word of encouragement. I have never seen the fruit of the Spirit more obviously displayed in a person's life as when I am with Joni. I can't seem to have a conversation with Joni without shedding tears. It's because Joni is a person whose life at every level is evidence of Spirit's work in and through her.